application.
We're proud to be Quality Pro certified.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, the standard and level of trust.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601, 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Pier Park, get ready to shake things up. Paradise Nutrition is now open. Craving flavor and fitness? We've got you covered. Loaded teas, protein-packed shakes, gourmet coffees, and refreshing drinks. From our signature Jimmy Buffett tea to Reese's Shake, Paradise Nutrition has over 600 flavor combos. Need energy? Appetite control? We've got add-ons like boba, biotin, collagen, and probiotics. Plus, try our donut whole shot appetite suppressant. Paradise Nutrition, Pier Park, next to Target.
Turf Pro Lawn and Pest Control. They take pride in caring for their customers' property by providing lawn and whole house pest control. Whether you have roaches or any other unwanted bugs in your home, Turf Pro has you covered. Or if your lawn needs weed control, fertilize, insect control, Turf Pro has you covered by providing custom treatments to meet your property's needs. No property is the same, so why should it be treated that way? Turf Pro, where the blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Call 850-890-5820. Visit the newly remodeled Mid-South Lumber Hardware and Feed Store in Youngstown. They have a full line of plumbing, electrical, hardware, and tools for your DIY home projects, as well as lumber and animal feed. Now offering not only baby chicks and a full line of poultry supplies, but also bunnies and parakeets. They also carry a wide selection of Duplin wines and gourmet products so you don't have to drive to the beach. Come see us at Mid-South Lumber on Highway 231 in Youngstown.
Hi folks, it's Tracy from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Did you know that we have a master jeweler right here in the store? That's right, she has over 20 years experience in the art of repairing jewelry. Most repairs are done within a week, so don't send your jewelry off for 6 weeks. Bring it to us at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We size rings and solder chains. We can reset your diamond into a new setting and even custom design. You'll get your jewelry back quickly and looking as good as new. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, Bay County's trusted jeweler for over 50 years.
Powered by Panama City Toyota. Your home for Auburn Tiger basketball. WGSX Lynn Haven. WVLQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the next evolution of Talk Radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat. The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good Monday morning. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 here in Panama City and Panama City Beach. 101.9 in Port St. Joe. As always, we are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can watch live or after the fact. All you got to do is search up ESPN Northwest Florida. Of course, you can always head over to ESPNPC.com as well. While you're there, obviously, hopefully you've already signed up for the Big Bracket Challenge and you're in there. We'll go over some standings here in a little bit. David, over what? Over 150 plus people in this one?
158.
Woo! We were only at 103 last year.
Yeah, so
kudos to everybody who signed up. It's about a 50% increase there in participation. And first, second, third has a chance to win some cash and prizes. Obviously, it's not been a ton of upsets. Not a lot of crazy stuff.
It's been a little. I think I just heard it on the Dan Patrick show. One of them said March Madness.
Yeah, madness. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. But again, you can head over to ESPNPC.com. You can always listen live there. But while you're there, sign up for Scorpion TV. I don't know how how it works. They keep changing the names, but it's still way cheaper than whatever you're paying right now for streaming services. Again, head over to ESPNPC.com. Right there in that top banner ad, you'll see the link to click on Scorpion TV. It'll take you to another site. Use code ESPNNW, and it's only going to cost you about $41.99 a month, and that's for over 2,000 channels on demand, all your sports channels, all your baseball games, all the football games once we get back to football season, which will be here right before we know it. And, of course, if you're a big movie buff, over 10,000 movies on demand. All right, we got a great show lined up for you guys today. We'll have Alan from Golf Plus at 12:20. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on at the Golf Plus stores. We appreciate Golf Plus being our studio sponsor here on the Inside Drive. And, of course, we got to catch up on all the NCAA men's March Madness action. As David said, March Madness. But some exciting stuff happened. There's some fun stats to talk about. And, of course, we got to talk about that Colorado State-Maryland ending last night. Was it a travel? Was it not a travel? I think that'll be a good poll question for today. We haven't done a poll question in a hot minute, some might say. So we'll throw that one out there. Let's hear what the listeners on social media think. Again, was that final game-winning buzzer beater, really one of the few buzzer beaters of the tournament, a legitimate play or a travel? We'll break that down here in just a little bit. But, we'll chat about that. David, good weekend?
Yeah, I mean...
Drinking from the fire hose of college basketball?
Yeah, no, I guess it wasn't very fulfilling this week. I mean, there was a lot of good games. No, there wasn't. There really wasn't a lot of great games, but once we got into the round of 64, they would get interesting, and it was kind of, especially when you got the David and Goliath matchups, it was, first 20 minutes, you're like, there's a chance, and then like Duke and Baylor. It's just
like football. Like a team can hold in there the first few drives, but then the better teams prevail, and certainly the number one seeds doing their job. Number two seeds, doing their job as well, making it a little more interesting probably for some of those higher-seeded teams. But, as we mentioned, no Cinderellas left in this tournament. Rounds 1 and 2 are complete. 13, 14, 15, and 16 seeds went 0 for the tournament. There's no 11-plus seed left in the tournament for the first time since 2007.
Man.
That's a long time. That's almost 20, coming up on 20 years. What's that, about 17 years right now? That's insane, 17 years. That's when I graduated college. Whew, time is flying by. Every team remaining is from a power conference. That's another fun fact from the NCAA tournament thus far. The group, or the Power Four conferences, are the only teams left in the tournament. The only 10 seed, of course, is John Calipari's Arkansas Razorbacks, who are really not necessarily an underdog. I believe they were favored in that last game they played. A healthy Arkansas team is certainly a dangerous team, especially led by Coach Calipari there. The cool thing about that going into the Sweet 16 matchups is we got a lot of heavyweight matchups coming up. You got Michigan versus Auburn, Kentucky versus Tennessee, Maryland versus Florida, and Arizona versus Duke. So a lot of fun Sweet 16 action coming up. I'm sure you all know, but just to kind of recap it, we'll talk about some of the past of these teams that are still alive in the Sweet 16. Auburn, the number one overall seed, advanced, as I just said. They'll be playing Michigan up there in Atlanta in the Sweet 16 round. Their journey started with a win over Alabama State. It was a little close there at halftime, but then prevailed. And, of course, they had a tougher matchup against the Creighton Blue Jays, ended up covering the spread and winning that one by 12. I believe they were down by a couple at halftime, maybe even tied at halftime. I don't remember exactly when, but Creighton hit 9 threes in that first half, which was just kind of ridiculous and was making me sweat a little bit. But then, obviously,
y'all calmed that one down pretty quick.
Chad Baker-Mazar went out, and it was bizarre. Then they started playing really well when he went out, and then Dylan Cardwell went out. But we'll have Brad Law on the line with us tomorrow to preview that big Sweet 16 matchup. The first time Auburn has been in the Sweet 16 since 2019.
That's wild.
When they made that run to the Final Four there, and the national championship game, and ended up losing to Virginia in that one. But
and then on the flip side of that, Bama 3 years in a row making it to the Sweet 16, first time in program history.
Man, SEC basketball, 7 teams from the SEC in the Sweet 16.
I would say that, at the beginning of the tournament when I can't remember what teams it were that fall, Vanderbilt went down. It was like, oh, look, the SEC, all these teams in and not going anywhere with it. I would say 7 out of 6 teams, almost 50%.
Yeah, almost 50% go to the Sweet 16. Yeah, that's pretty darn impressive. And only one team from the ACC, which may end up being the national championship team, as they're playing some great basketball. That is the Duke Blue Devils. And as I mentioned, Duke's route was a rout starting with Mount St. Mary's. Mount St. Mary's didn't stand a chance against Duke in that one, almost doubled their points, 93-49, and then took care of a decent Baylor team as well, 89-66. They'll face Arizona in the Sweet 16. Arizona's route started with a win over Akron, the Zips, 93-65, and then they played a team they're very familiar with, the Oregon Ducks. They won that one in a close matchup in the round of 32, 87 to 83. So again, they'll play Arizona in the Sweet 16. I'll go over times and dates here momentarily. Then on the other side, I believe that is the what particular? No, that's just part of the East. All right, so BYU is one of the few teams not in the SEC that made it to the Sweet 16. Their journey started with a 80-71 victory over Virginia Commonwealth University. Our good friend Alan Sandage from up there in ESPN Richmond covers VCU, and I know when VCU won their conference championship, they had some smack talk going on against their rival. I forget who they beat in that game, but it was their rival. And then BYU took care of Wisconsin in a close game, 91-89. So BYU earns himself a trip to the Sweet 16.
That was a heck of a game, too, right there. Really Wisconsin made a nice late charge on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And then they'll face the Alabama Crimson Tide, as David said, third straight year making it to the Sweet 16. Nate Oates has certainly done a wonderful job there, obviously recruiting, but also leading the Crimson Tide to some great victories and a great several seasons in a row. Alabama beat Robert Morris in the opening round 90-81, and then Alabama handedly took care of St. Mary's 80-66, again earning that trip to the Sweet 16. Well, they'll take on the BYU Cougars.
Yeah, Bama with Robert Morris, that game was a little too close for comfort for the majority of the game.
Around there a little bit.
The old Colonials, man, trying to take it back to 1776. I think you posted,
saw that.
Yeah, he posted that.
I deleted it because I didn't know if people would get what I was referencing.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that. And then the game against St. Mary's, man, first time that a team has put up 80 on St. Mary's in like 2 years, 105 games, I believe it
makes
is.
sense.
And
one of the best offenses in the country to do it, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And then, St. Mary's was a really good rebounding team as well. So that was a good showing for Bama, but the road's going to get a lot tougher here with a very fundamental team in BYU.
Plays very, very sound basketball.
BYU of Wisconsin is that's like the epitome of fundamental basketball matchups there. And it's going to be tough, though, because if you do get past BYU, who's one of the, I said from the beginning, one of my dark horses, you got Duke or Arizona, and those are two tough teams in the East bracket.
I think that's going to be a really, really good game. All right, jumping down to the Midwest, or jumping over to the Midwest bracket, I should say. The Houston Cougars, number 1 in that particular region. They beat SIU Edwardsville, one of our teams we talked about early on last week. SIUE for Edwardsville. Houston beat them 78-40. Not really a challenge there. But then the Zags with a late charge in the late night game. I don't know if everybody had a chance to stay up and watch that one, but a great finish there. Gonzaga tried to make a comeback. Houston was able to prevail 81-76 to earn them a trip to play the Purdue Boilermakers. Coming out of the Big Ten, they beat High Point University in High Point's first ever NCAA tournament game, 75-63, and then Purdue beat the I don't want to say the Cardiac Kids because they weren't really. I mean, they beat Clemson 69 or 69.
Yeah, but 67. They were. But the thing about that is that was basically like the first upset of the tournament,
it was.
There was the whole thing with I'm trying to think of what his actual name is.
Amir Khan. Yeah, we'll talk about him in our Afternoon Delight debrief as he keeps loading up on more NIL deals. I think he's got about 10 now.
Eddie. First team manager to hit the
transfer portal. There's going to be an influx of people applying for team manager jobs here. I can feel coming pretty soon.
No doubt.
But the Purdue Boilermakers won the opening round against High Point 75-63 and then beat McNeese 76-62. The McNeese luck ran out in that one, so they'll take on Houston in their Sweet 16 matchup in the Midwest final, or not final, the Midwest top part of the Midwest bracket there. I was going to say, getting back to McNeese, like, what was it, Sister, I always want to say Sister
Jean.
Jean, but I always say Sister Mary, and it's not Sister Mary. That's about the epitome of a Catholic sister. Sister Jean. It seems like when these teams have something to kind of like, I don't want to say distract, but when you got
hold on to.
Yeah, it seems to propel
forward.
you. But McNeese, I really thought McNeese was going to have an opportunity to beat Purdue there, but Purdue is a very, very good basketball team
and underrated as well.
Yeah.
And again, Coach Painter with all of the, I believe that's who's over there at Purdue. With all the big-time players that he's had, and they continue to lose them, and they just keep on pushing their way forward. And, I mean, a great run from McNeese. Will Wade, obviously, is not going to be there.
Yeah.
How big of a distract? How long did some of the basketball players know that Will Wade was actually going to be going to North Carolina State? We always talk about with the players like, what's it called? When you're... Tampering.
Yes.
I was going to say traitoring, but I'm like, that's not the, but kind of.
I did. I wasn't in tune with you like I normally am on that one.
But I mean, it's still a great run. Tough team to lose to, and they brought a lot of, with the whole Amir Khan thing, that it brought a different type of vibe to the tournament.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of fun. That's some cool things about these tournaments is you get some different and unique stories that come out of stuff. So anyway, staying in that Midwest bracket, we've got Kentucky. They'll be taking on Tennessee, familiar foes in that one. Kentucky took care of Troy 76-57 and then had a pretty solid win over a good Illinois team, 84-75. On the flip side, Tennessee took on Wofford, won that one by 15, 77-62, and then had to play a pretty decent UCLA team, won that one 67-58. So they will take on Kentucky in the Sweet 16 game. On the other side of the bracket, we've got, we already talked about Auburn and Michigan. Ole Miss, kind of a, I don't want to say surprising team, but another team out of the SEC, a 6 seed, making a deeper run so far. They beat North Carolina, which was my easiest bet of the weekend.
Ole Miss over North Carolina.
Ole Miss over North Carolina, because I think Ole Miss was getting points in that game.
They were the underdog. They were getting points. They were the money line underdog. And it was funny because the whole North Carolina and who was it that they played? San Diego State. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, you got a lot of people were taking San Diego State, but North Carolina had that chip on their shoulder, and then everyone kind of about-faced and, okay, well, North Carolina, look how good they are now. And I just felt like Ole Miss could get past them, and then Iowa State was a team that was hot early on. But really kind of weaned off a little bit in the latter half, the second half of the year. So I actually have on my bracket Ole Miss and Michigan State on that one.
Nice.
So,
I think I might too. I'm not sure. But we'll go over those standings here in just a little bit. But yeah, Ole Miss won their opening round game over UNC 71-64. And then Ole Miss kind of never looked back against Iowa State. Got ahead early and again, never looked back. 91-78, that one to earn themselves a trip to the Sweet 16. They'll be taking on the Michigan State Spartans. Tom Izzo's got his team back in the Sweet 16. I'm sure there's some records that come with that, but they opened with Bryant University. They won that one handedly, 87-62, and then had to play a good New Mexico team in the second round, won that one 71-63. So Ole Miss taking on Michigan State. The Florida Gators survived a little bit of a heart attack there in that second round. I know I'm sure all the Gator fans, and there's a lot of them here in the Florida Panhandle, were sweating that one a little bit, but not the first round game. Norfolk State out of Virginia just didn't have enough firepower to keep up with the Gators, 95-69 in that one.
Did you hear the head coach after the game for Norfolk State? I didn't hear like the press conference because, I'm changing it to the next game.
Yeah.
I guess there was a clip of him saying, there was a clip of him saying, well, we covered the spread. So we're not that bad.
Hey, positivity. That's right. You got to look for the positives.
I guess.
Yeah, that was a big spread too.
It was like 32 and a half, so they lost by like 20-something.
Hey, a
win's a win, right?
The plus bettors were feeling good about
How
that
much
one.
money you have on that spread there, Coach?
Right? That'd be wild. But yeah, UConn gave the two-time defending national champion UConn Huskies gave the Florida Gators all they want in that second half. Florida kind of was, a little bit out ahead there in the first half, but then UConn just kind of step for step with Florida.
Tied it up there at the half, brought it to 31-31.
And I think they took the lead kind of late in the second half, and then all of a sudden Florida went on like a quick 7-8-0 run.
Jr.
Yep, and he took over, and UConn tried to make it happen, but Florida just the better team in that one. And sometimes when you have a game like that early in the tournament where you're really challenged and it pushes you, that might bode well for the rest of the tournament for the Gators. Kind of have that, I don't want to say scare, but just have a team that creeps up on you a little bit. But they'll be taking on the number 4 seed Maryland Terps. We'll talk a little more detail at the end of that game. Maryland walked all over Grand Canyon University 81-49 in the opening round, and then faced a Colorado State team who was actually the favorite over Memphis. Colorado State beat Memphis 78-70 in that
That's
one.
That's wild when 12 seeds are favorites.
I know. I took Memphis with the points, and they didn't cover. It's just one of those that kind of stood out, like you said, having a 12 seed be a favorite. But then the Maryland Terps on a last-second shot. But the big question is, and we put it out there as a poll question, did Derek Queen travel on that final play of the game? David, I don't know if you had a chance to watch that or see that.
I was watching it live, but I never even brought into question it being a travel.
Basically, a Maryland freshman star, Derek Queen, saved the day on Sunday for his team with a buzzer-beating bank shot from just outside the painted area to lift Maryland past Colorado State and into the Sweet 16. But one of the key pieces of the Terps' Crab 5 might have done some crab walking to do it. Queen gathered the inbounds play with 3.7 seconds remaining and went into quick attack mode from the top of the key. He took 2 dribbles, gathered, and launched into the air off his right foot while fading left, hanging just long enough in the midair to get that shot, smooched the glass, and went in. A little kiss off the glass.
Yeah, high off the glass,
yes,
too.
But then if you go back and look at it...
That's what I'm about to...
Yeah, he kind of gathered the ball in his left hand, took 3 steps before he got the shot off. So a lot of people...
The first step was it's a new move that they're bringing in. It's the American step, kind of like the Euro step.
Gotcha.
Like you just get extra one and no one notices.
They just look away.
Yeah.
Just look away. The shot fell, the horn sounded, the game ended. Maryland 72, Colorado State 71. If it were only so simple, a closer inspection of play reveals Queen may have traveled on the play as he attacked the basket. It was not called. Current NCAA rules allow a gather in 2 steps. A slow-motion view of a separate angle posted by March Madness and slowed down by me, the writer of this article, shows he clearly gathered and subsequently took 3 steps. The rub may be what CBS rules analyst Gene Steratore explained as a matter of possession. During halftime of the ensuing Oregon and Arizona game, Steratore joined the set of TBS halftime programming and shot down theories that Queen had traveled. In my personal opinion, to me, it looks like he traveled. I count 3 full steps.
When I'm watching it back, I wouldn't have been mad had he blown the whistle right there. That's one of those human elements that I think as a referee, you're almost watching the ball. You know what I mean? Like you're not even like...
You're kind of caught up in what's going on in the game.
Exactly. I mean, that's why...
That's why it's so hard to be a ref.
Right, but it's also the beautiful part of it is because if the refs got every single thing right all the time, I'm not saying that would be boring. I'm just saying that...
It wouldn't be as exciting. There wouldn't be as much... controversy, for lack of a better term.
Right, there you go. And then also I would expect them to call every single travel. At that point, there would be a lot more.
Sure, there'd be a ton of travels.
I mean, there's so many times I see guys getting away with a slip. I'm like, man, they would have blew the whistle on us back in the day.
Absolutely. Rec ball, they're doing it, that's for sure. But Gene Steratore had said, by rule, the dribble doesn't end until there's firm possession with one hand locked, but more times than not with 2 hands. When he brings it back up, we don't know if it's fully possessed. If he bobbles that at that point, he could continue to bobble that basketball all the way to the hoop without a travel. So you've got to wait until you can define firm possession. And he goes on to say, to me, it really doesn't jump off the screen as anything big. You're just bailing out the refs there, Gene.
Oh, yeah. Steeler fan, Gene Steratore.
And then, of course, Clark Kellogg, Charles Barkley, and Kenny Smith agreed with Gene, as they're not going to dispute that.
Oh, come on. Those guys will dispute it.
Charles might have. He's
I see what he's saying, though, by not having firm possession, because when he goes to the left hand, it does kind of bobble.
Yeah.
But it still is like, the ball is, once you dribble it the first time, like, this ain't football that we're talking about. Once you have the ball the first time, that is your possession.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, you see him kind of go to the left hand. It looks like the ball's locked, and then he takes the 3 steps, fades away, makes the shot. Obviously, the human element, like David was talking about, didn't call it as a travel. So, in turn, that stays as a game-winning for Maryland there heading to the Sweet 16. And we got to head to a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the games, some of the matchups, and then we'll dive into the Sweet 16 schedule, and then, of course, the ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge standings. You guys listen to the Inside Drive Monday morning. We'll be right back.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Line play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the Man Cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Monday. For this afternoon and evening, possible thunderstorms and mostly clouds and a high of 69 with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour coming out of the southwest. Tonight, a mixture of slight fog and some clouds with lows around 63. Tomorrow, slightly foggy in the morning followed by some sun and a temperature near 73. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Ready for a great deal? It's Ready, Set, Go time at Panama City Toyota, where you can get 3.99% APR on the perfect combination of sport and utility in the new RAV4, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 1.99% on the ruggedly refined Tacoma, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. And get 1.99% on a new Tundra, named the best resale value in its class by Kelley Blue Book. Ready, Set, Go.
Offer ends March 31st. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
From the Auburn Sports Network, Alpha Insurance presents Auburn Sports Today. Here's Brad Law.
Auburn basketball is headed back to the Sweet 16. The Tigers took down Creighton behind a powerhouse scoring performance from the backcourt. Tahad Pettiford poured in 23 points to lead the way for Bruce Pearl's club.
But when you go up against drop coverage, obviously you're going to be able to get a ball screen and you're going to be able to turn corners. Creighton does a great job of funneling everybody to the rim, to the shot blocker. Combination of we try to put a body on the shot blocker on the backside so he couldn't rotate over. And then when he did rotate over, those guys, particularly Tahad, Chad, Denver had a big bucket late. We're able to get in the lane and make buckets. And then we had some backside rebounding there to take advantage of the shot blocking. So it was a very simple game plan. Stephen Pearl had the scout tonight, and he had an absolutely masterful game plan. Particularly, Stephen was focused on the defensive end, just really, really good. I know it didn't look like it in the first half when they were banging all those threes, but I thought we, obviously held a really good offensive team to 70 points and to hold them to, the shooting percentage in the second half of 42%, 23% from three was huge. And then Mike Burgermaster, my offensive coordinator, we had a real good feel for, depending upon where the big fella, who he was guarding, about what actions that we wanted to run to be able to get open shots and to be able to get downhill.
Auburn meets Michigan Friday in Atlanta. Stay tuned for more information this week about some special programming ahead of that Sweet 16 matchup against the Wolverines. Until tomorrow, I'm Brad Law for Auburn Sports Today.
Welcome to the Inside Drive, the next big thing.
It's a big, huge, giant deal.
Sports betting, huge reactions, your calls and real-time coverage of the stories you're following on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live inside the Golf Plus studios right here at ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, real quick, before we talk about some of these Sweet 16 matchups, we got to talk about the ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge. Is the fix on? Is the fix on?
What is that supposed to mean,
158 entries and 2 stand alone at the top. One is ATM McCord, which is a gentleman that Mike Howdy McDaniel was telling me about. He's from up there in Hartselle, Alabama, who joined our bracket as well, and he's got 530 points. And, of course, our very own David Hayes also has 530 points. Those two fine gentlemen.
Both got Florida, too.
Yeah, so I'm hoping Auburn brings me to the tie. I just don't feel super confident about that. Florida and Duke's obviously playing some great basketball right now. But, yeah, 2 tied at the top and looking pretty good there, David Hayes.
Yeah, I mean, finally, again, here's the thing. There's still so much left to be played. This leaderboard is going to change so much just from Thursday and Friday to Saturday and Sunday. Then we'll have a much better picture of what the top is going to look like at the end. But hey, it's a lot of fun. I only did 3 brackets this year.
Yeah.
So this is my main bracket.
Yeah, clearly I saw it in the name. Yeah. David's main bracket.
And then I have one that has Alabama. The champion, which is doing pretty well. Then I have a money bracket where I also put Florida as the champion, and that one is garbage. I basically just, like, the ones that I couldn't decide on, I chose the opposite on. Yeah. Didn't work out very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, hey, the one I'm taking credit for is the main bracket, though.
Well, when you look at there's a cool thing. It says forecast, and I don't like my forecast. A 0.3% chance to win. Right now, it's got ESPN fans, blah, 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 ends in 826 with a 6% chance to win, and they have currently the best path to win, followed by the Mitts picks 12 and ESPN Hampner's picks as well. So where's David's?
Oh, see, the forecast ain't looking too great.
Yeah, but the forecast can change. Just like the weather out there. Just
once we get to about Thursday or Friday.
You're beating me in fantasy baseball too. I just saw that 4.9 to 4.0.
Yeah, we played 2 games.
Yeah,
so.
I had one. I had Kyle Tucker playing one of those games over there.
Yeah, Tokyo series.
Yeah, Japan. So it gets.
Man, we had a fantasy draft. I'm in one with Sam Peebles. I just realized the other day we've been doing it for 10. I think this is the 10th year.
Wow, that's awesome.
And we were supposed to have keepers, and I was basically going to keep my whole roster because why not? I was in second place last year.
Yeah.
But the keepers didn't go through, so we ended up having to do the full draft. I'm like, oh, dang.
Oh. That's kind of why. You got the keeper part of it.
But it was just one of those things where I don't think it could be prevented, and so got a brand new team that I got to figure out what in the world we're going to be doing with. So.
Gotta manage. Don't forget all your Braves games right here. All the Braves games that don't get in the way of March Madness.
Right. Well, we will run Thursday's opening game. Okay. Then I don't think we're running another one till Monday which is the series with Dodgers. 2 Padres games.
Okay. So, yeah, Braves about to get started right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. I know Rick Ty and all the other Braves fans here in the Northwest Florida area, in our listening area, are excited for some Braves action to be back going. We'll talk about their projected opening day lineup coming up on Thursday. But it's that time of year. We got basketball going on. Baseball's about to start. Hockey, NBA are getting close to the playoffs. And, of course, right around the corner is the Masters. I'm looking forward to the Masters. I want to do some play-by-play coverage again this year. I had so much fun doing that last year, and I won't obviously have my cohort to do it, but maybe we can do it on Friday when he's here on. He won't be here this Friday, of course, but one Friday he comes in and the next Friday he's out. That's neither here nor there. On the women's side,
that's actually, well, he wasn't going to be here this last Friday anyways.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's basically 1 on 2 off right now.
Yeah, he's 1 for 3. 33. All right, in baseball, you're doing pretty good. If you're a NC State women's basketball fan, you're very happy right now as they are off to a 30-9 start against the Michigan State Lady Spartans. So the Lady Wolfpack looking pretty good, although that was a pretty strong foul there.
Bro, that it's so funny because my women's bracket is 99 percentile or whatever.
So that's where your expertise lies.
I don't know. It's I guess.
Or is it more predictable?
I feel like it's A, very much more so predictable.
Okay.
But B, it kind of has that when other people are filling in basketball, March Madness brackets, and they haven't, watched really any basketball at all that year, and they're just kind of taking a shot in the dark. I think that helps as well, not knowing as much,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, kind of ignorance is bliss in some betting situations and some situations like that. But, all right, let's talk real quick about the matchups in the Sweet 16. And, David, I want you to kind of give me your thoughts on if you think the team that's a favorite in this matchup is on upset alert.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start with the first one. That is Florida versus Maryland. Florida is minus 265 on the money line. Obviously, this matchup could have very easily been UConn and Colorado State. Obviously, Florida pulling out a 2-point win over the Huskies, and Maryland with the controversial buzzer beater for the 1-point victory over Colorado State University. Obviously, the Gators are a pick by many people, including yourself, in your main bracket to win the NCAA tournament. Do you think Maryland's got a shot over the Gators in this one?
There's always a shot in any sport that you're playing. I know, but I totally get where you're coming from. There is a shot here for Maryland, but I think one of the worst things for all of the other 16 teams that are all the other 15 teams that are remaining in the tournament is the game that Florida just had to go through. Yeah. And when you have the defending champion who, they may be an 8 seed, but like Kenny was saying on one of the in-between games last night is that those 8 and 9 seed teams, like those are teams who were either ascending or ascending late or descending late, and they, had all of the players there, but they had some injuries or lost some games that maybe they shouldn't have lost, and that's a dangerous 8 seed right there. Absolutely. In the Huskies. So for Florida to get by in that game, I think it gives them a rejuvenation of their confidence, as if they weren't confident already. Walter Clayton Jr., Condon, two of the best players in the tournament. They're large across the board. They've got one of the biggest backcourts in the country. I think for what UConn had to go through, or what Florida had to go through right there, is going to push them past Maryland.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
I like maybe 8.5 points. Like I would take Florida with.
I wonder what the actual if they
or to cover
if they even have it yet.
I would
hope
imagine
so at this point. Yeah, let's see. I've been doing this Battle of the Bets thing.
Battle of the Bets on Hard Rock?
Yeah, where you pick one of the sides, and if you get it right, they give you a bonus bet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's been going on since the tournament started, basically.
Yeah, they got it. It's 6.5.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, that's a tricky one. That's a tricky one.
I said 8.5. So
yeah. I would take Florida minus 6.5.
Minus 6.5.
Yeah, I think I would probably be on that one as well.
The over and the unders are what's tricky.
Yeah, no doubt, especially at BYU Alabama over under at 175. That's a big old number. That is. It is.
Sure. Have they even scored 175 total in any? Well, no, they had 171 with Robert Morris.
Okay.
And then they had 146 with St. Mary's.
No, St. Mary's didn't. really do a whole lot. So BYU's got a decent. Yeah,
they put up 80 and 91. So they're 171. How much did Bama put up? They put up 170. So
yeah, it could be right there. That's why it's at 175. These guys know what they're doing when it comes to the lines. No doubt about it.
It really is going to come down to, because I don't know how well BYU's defense is. It's going to come down to Alabama, how good their defense is. But what do we always talk about? What do they live and die by? The 3-point shot.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, next Sweet 16 game is number 1 Duke versus number 4 Arizona. Duke obviously has been blowing out teams in the regular season as they finished up, and they won their first 2 tournament games by a combined 67 points and have now won 21 games by at least 20 points this season following their lopsided win over the Bears. But yeah, I mean, it's the thing with how tough is their competition been down the stretch, and really these first 2 round matchups, obviously the competition really wasn't that challenging. So going up against a game against a lot tougher competition in Arizona, who's played well all season, and I think this is the biggest spread out of any of the Sweet 16 games right now at -9 for Duke.
Oh, that's tough too, because I think Mount St. Mary's, it was like an ungodly number when I was looking at it live, and I was like, no, I'm going to take Mount St. Mary's with the points here, but Duke obviously is going to win.
Yep.
And they smashed that, almost beat them by daggone 50 points.
Yep, almost doubled them up.
And then Duke and Baylor, so I was like, it's 12. I'll take a Duke to cover the 12 here.
Yeah.
Like I learned my lesson the last time. So
that paid off.
I don't know, though. Sitting there at 9, it's going to be tough with Arizona. I think the number that I like here is the over 153.5.
I was just looking at that and was about to I agree with that for sure, because Duke's going to put up at least 80. Can Arizona stay with them? I don't know. The spread and the over-under, the spread being -9 and the over-under 153.5 really shows how much they have confidence in Duke winning that game handedly. Yeah. So we shall see. But hey, that's why they got to play the game. All right, kind of a fun matchup. You've got the Texas Tech Red Raiders and the number 10, the highest seed left, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Obviously, Coach Calipari has done a wonderful job with the Arkansas this year, and they're now as healthy as they've been in a long time, which makes them a very dangerous team. Obviously, they upset the number 2 seed, St. John's, led by Rick Pitino.
Yeah, I mean, how about
I got a woo pig while I was talking. It distracted me.
Well, how about the coaching tree that Cal has run through to this point, right?
Wild.
First game, they open up Kansas, Bill Self gets the W there. Kind of odds stacked against them. I think some people were excited, were down on Arkansas, not just because of the injuries, but, the loss to Ole Miss in the tournament and not having the success throughout the regular season. Starting out 0-5 in the SEC this year, but then you go in and you take down St. John's, a number 2 seed with that Hall of Famer head coach Rick Pitino. Yep. Just very impressive stuff there. And it's tough because Texas Tech has been a team that has been right here basically all year, just kind of flying underneath the radar.
Yeah, scoring a lot of points.
So how do you get does Coach Cal and the Razorbacks feel like they've done enough this year to kind of salvage their slow beginning? Is their cup filled? That's I guess where my question is.
Have they reached their goal? Yeah. Was winning a couple tournament games their goal?
Yeah, now you're in the Sweet 16, you can kind of ease.
Or you feel like you're on, not borrowed time, but whatever the correct phrase would be for this situation. Like, you're there, you probably weren't expected to be there, so do you play loose, and does that help you? Because, you really feel like you got nothing to lose at that point, where, Texas Tech is a 3 seed, and, they had to go through Drake and UNC Wilmington, so they really hadn't been tested quite yet, where Arkansas obviously had a good matchup there, 2 good matchups, like you said, against Kansas, and then the number 2 seed St. John's. So
I think the 5.5 is what I'm looking at here, and I kind of like it with the points there, because I think they'll push them to the brink but won't get the job done.
Kind of weird over-under right now without a half point in there.
Yeah,
at 147.
Yeah.
Yep, strange stuff. But yeah, Arkansas. I like Arkansas with the points. I like Arkansas to potentially win that game and get a. Length is going to be a problem for Toppin. Yeah, appreciate you, Adam. Keep coming with the Arkansas stuff. Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be one of the more fun games, and it might be even worth a little money line action there on Arkansas to see if they can get one done. All right, moving right along. I know we'll go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll continue talking about March Madness as it only lasts for so long. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida presents the madness of college basketball. 68 teams, 32 conference champions. But there can only be one. ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for the NCAA College Basketball Tournament.
Do you want to eat like a local? The Local 115 is now open. Local drinks, local sports, and local food. Delicious oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbos, salads, paninis, wings, wine, and cold beer. Nothing fried. That's right. No fried foods at Local 115. Amazing local food with an exciting local sports and mural theme. Eat like a local at the Local 115. 115 Harrison Avenue, downtown Panama City.
Ready for a great deal? It's ready, set, go time at Panama City Toyota, where you can get 3.99% APR on the perfect combination of sport and utility in the new RAV4, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 1.99% on the ruggedly refined Tacoma, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. And get 1.99% on a new Tundra, named best resale value in its class by Kelley Blue Book. Ready, set, go.
Offer ends March 31st. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
MLB is incoming, and you won't miss a game. Introducing Scorpion TV. Over 5,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch 400 local network channels from Panama City and most major markets. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $45 a month with our promo code ESPNNW. Go to ESPNPC.com and click the Scorpion TV logo.
Join the best of day winning inside drive with all your lines, props, and covers. Winning on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Your home for all the March Madness action. We got Braves opening day coming up on Thursday, followed by as many of the games we can get right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Most of the Sweet 16 matchups do come in the evening, so I think post the afternoon underdogs we'll have a lot of the tournament coverage still going on. I was out and about a lot this weekend, listened to a lot of the games on the radio. Something about listening to college basketball, most sports anyway, on the radio is just so much fun. But listening to
makes you use that imagination.
Yeah, it's like reading a book.
Yeah,
it's like reading a book.
You don't. When you're watching stuff, you don't have to use your imagination unless you're, watching. I guess with movies, you can guess what the outcome is going to be, but at the end of the day, it's
not
really
visualizing something in your head.
You're not making your brain work as much.
Absolutely. Again, all the March Madness games that we can offer will be right here on ESPN.
It'll be all of them. It'll be every game outside of. We might get to Thursday would be BYU and Alabama, I believe, to start off the tournament. So we might be a tad late. But baseball games aren't really running 3 hours these days.
That's true. Most of them under 2.5 hours this day and age. But, getting back to that schedule, like you said, the Duke-Arizona game, that is Thursday at 7:39. The Texas Tech-Arkansas game is Thursday at 10:09. And that's all Eastern time, so that's 9:09 here in the Central Time Zone. Michigan State, Ole Miss, next game we're going to talk about, that is Friday at 7:09. I think I missed one, because where is Alabama? Yeah, like you said, Alabama, 6:09 tip-off, so it'll be coming up right after the afternoon underdogs on Thursday.
No, Thursday we're going to be playing, so once we get done with your show, we're going to go straight into Braves coverage, and then the Braves' first pitch will be 3:10 on Thursday, so we're going to go ahead and get into that opening game, and then we'll dive right into BYU and Alabama.
Sweet.
Chris Sale should be on the bump for the old Bravos. You got Drake Baldwin, who's made the opening day roster. Will we see him catch? Will it be Chad Trumpwick? Let's see what else is going on with the old Braves right now. But Strider's pitching in spring training right now. Hey, we'll see, man.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, and they got this is something kind of underrated to me, since we're just touching on it real quick. The Braves got Alex Verdugo, who was with the Red Sox, then with the Yankees, for $1.5 million for a one-year deal. So, I mean, to add him to the platoon more than likely of Jared Kelenic and Jurickson Profar, and now Verdugo's there, we'll see. And then they also brought back Jesse Chavez and Craig Kimbrell. So I think that we've got this nice mix of what our young core is and what our veteranship is. If the pitching staff, especially at the front end, the starting rotation can be decent, I think the Braves are in shape for a good year. Barring injuries,
of course. And speaking of injuries, having some of the big key guys like Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back the first couple months of the season. And then I know Sean Murphy is probably going to miss the first week or two on the IL with that cracked rib. But obviously with Drake Baldwin and Chadwick Tromp, they'll be getting going, and we'll see.
They called him Chad Trompwick.
I like that better. That's more exciting. It flows better. I
mean, we've just been in such a good place at the position of catcher for the last couple of years, with especially with Sean Murphy and Travis d'Arnaud. So losing d'Arnaud's been tough, but we'll get old Chadwick Tromp.
Yeah, Chadwick Trompwick. That should be his name. He should have Wick on the end of both of them. All right, getting back into the NCAA action. What did I leave off? I think I left off on Michigan State.
Yeah, you were
Michigan
getting ready
State
for Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. All right, let's see what I had the Michigan State. This is the closest line out of any game in the Sweet 16 at -3 for Michigan State, and I think that's well warranted. Obviously, Michigan State's playing great basketball, and they held off a pretty good team in New Mexico on Sunday night. But Ole Miss is playing great basketball, like we said earlier. Kind of one of those teams I could see. Did you have Ole Miss getting past Michigan State in this one?
I did have Ole Miss get not. You
had Ole Miss getting to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, but I got Michigan State. I think I have Florida knocking off Michigan State.
Okay, gotcha. Sounds good. But yeah, 3 points there. What would you do with that? I would take Ole Miss with the 3. I think.
Michigan State, I think, was overlooking New Mexico a little bit there and didn't play their best brand of ball. I think when it comes down to the coaching of Chris Beard and Tom Izzo, I have to give the upper hand to Tom Izzo, so give me a point there. I'm going to say that I'll take Michigan State to cover the 3.
Okay. It's spreads in basketball when they get below 5 are so tricky, because the end of the game it could shift. A team hits there was a really bad beat that happened in one of the games over the weekend.
I bet it was that BYU Wisconsin game. That had to have been one of them, right? But I don't know. That one was expected to be close.
The UConn Florida game. So UConn nailed a 3-pointer from 35 feet at the buzzer to make it 77-75, which hit the over at 152, which was 150.5. So you were sitting there kind of hanging out in the under, and then they hit this bomb 3 that didn't matter for anything.
Well, that's kind of where I was getting at too, is just for the game of basketball, is why did you, on that particular play right there, and it wasn't necessarily a play, it's just, hey guys, someone get open, let's get something going. I don't understand why the guy who had the ball first, who threw it backwards, and then they found the guy coming around Karabin or whatever. I don't understand why they just didn't fire that shot, because no matter what, making that is irrelevant. But there was like 6 seconds when you crossed half court. So what are we wasting 6 seconds of our game time for? Get the shot off. If you make it, now you can foul. Hopefully they miss one. And I don't know what their timeout situation was looking like, but it didn't seem like they had the right amount of urgency for that final play.
Yeah, and that would be on coaching, right? To make sure that the players are ready for that situation.
You would definitely, you do have to say something about that. It's not like they were coming off of a timeout, though, so it's one of those where I would have liked to see that shot get up 2 or 3 seconds earlier.
Yeah.
Because then you have a chance at that point.
Absolutely. Quick foul, miss one of the shots, get back down, score a point, or win the game. All right, next is a very familiar matchup and pretty much unavoidable to have 2 SEC teams facing off against each other when you have 7 left. Mathematically, it has to happen. And that's the Tennessee Volunteers and the Kentucky Wildcats. That game will be Friday at 6:39 Central Time on TBS/TruTV and right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Out of the 7 games that Tennessee has lost this year, 2 of those have been to the University of Kentucky. Will the third time happen in the Sweet 16 with an elite 8 trip on the line. We shall see. The first matchup was a close 78-73 victory with all 5 Kentucky starters scoring in double figures, and the Volunteers taking a season-high 45 three-pointers and connecting on just 11 of them. The second was just a few weeks later on February 11th with a 75-64 final score, and outside shooting was again an issue for Tennessee as they connected on just 3 of 18 from long range. Obviously, Chaz Lanier had 2 of his worst performances of the season in those 2 losses, as he only scored a combined 25 points and was 8 of 27 from the field and 3 of 17 from beyond the arc in those losses. I think Chaz Lanier plays a huge role in this particular rematch, as he's got to be hot, he's got to be on to give those Tennessee Volunteers a chance to advance to the Elite 8. Spread in this one is -4 for Tennessee. Kentucky is +4, and they're both -110 there. Dave, what do you think about this matchup? This is a tough one. Tough one.
This was even tough for the over-under, because I don't know if I see either team getting to 77.
Yeah.
Right? And so if I don't see one team getting to 77, I need both teams to get to 77 to get to 144.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but it seems like it's been more unders than overs in this, and I'm sure that's going to continue throughout the rest of the tournament.
I would take the under here, but initially, before we saw any games, I would say Tennessee. Like, that's what my bracket says. Tennessee. I've actually got Tennessee over Illinois. I had Illinois beating Kentucky. Kentucky played lights out.
Yeah.
So that worries me. But it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. That's true.
100%.
All right, we'll give you that. But the way Kentucky's playing right now, I don't want to. I don't really like either of these teams, but in this particular game, I think that I would go with the +4. Again, like as you mentioned, that those 5 and under spreads are really tough, especially when you're talking about 2 rivals and foes such as these.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and they've got 4 days to get ready for each other, but I tend to lean in these lower spread matchups with 2 very comparable teams. I tend to lean towards the team getting the points, just because I feel like it's going to be close one way or the other, and sometimes you can end up stealing one there late in the game with a couple late free throws, et cetera, et cetera. But big time matchup. That one's going to be again 6:39 Central on TBS True TV and right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, 2 more. We've got number 5 seed Michigan Wolverines. Michigan Eddie, are you out there? I'm sure you'll give us a call on Friday, or maybe Thursday or Friday, against the number 1 overall seed Auburn Tigers. Obviously, big story at the end of the season was Auburn lost 3 out of their last 4. They didn't play that great in the opening round game. Bruce Pearl challenged them to get their you-know-what together, and they came out and played a fantastic second half in their round of 32 matchup to earn them the first trip to the Sweet 16 since 2019. One of the bigger spreads, you've got 2 games with an 8-point spread, and this is one of them. Auburn is -8 over Michigan. Michigan +8. Auburn, I thought, was going to not cover the spread in their round of 32 game, but ended up pulling away late. And I think the closing spread line was like 9.5, and they won by 12, so covered that one. Auburn obviously is going to have to play a really good game against Michigan. Is Auburn got more depth than Michigan, more talent? Most likely, but Michigan's got the story. Trey Donaldson is wanting some, I don't think revenge is the right word, but going against his former team as he transferred from Auburn last year to the Michigan Wolverines, and should be a fun game.
The over-under at 152.5 is...
That seems way high.
It seems way high, but I mean, you look at Michigan and Texas A&M, 91-79, high scoring there. They were very low scoring and had, needed some late game heroics to beat the Tritons of UC San Diego. That's Michigan anyways. And then for Auburn, they cruised in the first round, taking on Alabama State. And then in the second round, as you mentioned, they kind of had to push Creighton back. But once they did, they put baby in a corner at that point.
Absolutely.
And so that's the thing. Is Auburn going to come out and put Michigan in the corner, or is Michigan going to be able to find their way? Michigan beat Wisconsin in a back and forth in the Big Ten championship game. Michigan, with Coach Dusty May, has found ways to win. I like Michigan's getting 8 points here.
8 points.
I like Michigan with the 8 points.
Yeah.
The over and under is what I'm struggling with at this point. I feel like my initial reaction is that's way too high, so I want to go under. So I'll take Michigan with the 8 and then go under as well.
Yeah, no.
But it seems like when you take the spread, when you take the team with the spread, you should take the over as well.
That's the complimentary bet. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Auburn scored 83 and 82. So Michigan, like you said, 91 and 68 against UC San Diego. So, but again, those are games. It's not the same opponent, not the same strategy, not the same matchups. So they are unique, each as own. All right,
and Auburn's a team, as you mentioned. I think Michigan's kind of the same way, that they can play your game and beat you at it.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of every team out, maybe not Florida, as far as playing, I think that's where Auburn has to control tempo.
Yeah.
I think any team does to be able to match up with
a running competition with Florida, you're going to get beat.
Exactly. And then with Michigan, I mean, yeah, they find a way to stick it to you.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting game.
It's a matchup. I feel less nervous about this matchup than I did the Creighton matchup.
Really?
Just because of that monster guy that Creighton had, 7-2.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if, Broome and Cardwell would handle him, but he certainly did. So
well, Florida, the team that they got right now, but next year they got that one kid.
Yeah.
I don't even know what his name is.
But he's like 7'9".
It's ridiculous.
I saw a picture of Tracy Wolfson. I don't know if you saw that next to him, and I was like, how is that even possible?
Right.
Like, I guess I heard on the radio that he had a size 14 shoe in 7th or 8th grade.
He ain't wearing no 14.
No, not now. But
and he's kind of like bigger too for being his age.
Yeah, a lot of those younger Giants are a little bit skinnier as well. Real quick, last but not least, before we have to take our break, we've got the final matchup that'll be at 9:09 here in the Central Time Zone. That is Houston at Purdue. Houston, an overwhelming money line favorite in that one, and a -8 on the spread as well, and an extremely low over/under at 133. I would probably take Purdue +8 in this one. I know we don't have any time really to discuss it, but we shall see. All those Sweet 16 matchups should be a lot of fun, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now where we don't have as much games going on at one time. Actually, none at the same time. A little crossover here and there, but we got to take a break.
I go Purdue with the points, as you mentioned, and the over.
Okay, I like it. Like you said, if you're taking the points, you almost kind of got to go the over.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break. We haven't done an afternoon delight debrief since a week ago of this last Friday, so we're going to dive into some new ones. I got some fun ones for us today. You guys listen to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Monday. For this afternoon and evening, possible thunderstorms and mostly clouds and a high of 69 with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour coming out of the southwest. Tonight, a mixture of slight fog and some clouds with lows around 63. Tomorrow, slightly foggy in the morning followed by some sun and a temperature near 73. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Do you want to eat like a local? The Local 115 is now open. Local drinks, local sports, and local food. Delicious oysters, crab cakes, steamed seafood, gumbos, salads, paninis, wings, wine, and cold beer. Nothing fried. That's right. No fried foods at Local 115. Amazing local food with an exciting local sports and mural theme. Eat like a local at the Local 115. 115 Harrison Avenue, downtown Panama City.
This is not for the casual fan. This is for the warriors. This is for the legends.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City Beach, all the beautiful surrounding areas, and tons of growth going on out there all over the place. So, take your time out there, drive slow, don't get frustrated. It's part of what we do here in Bay County. So it keeps us going, keeps people employed, and keeps our taxes, quote unquote, a little bit lower. Going to dive into some afternoon delight debriefs, but first want to talk about our new studio sponsor. We'll have him on here in the next segment at 12:20. That is Alan Watson. He's the owner of Golf Plus. 2 great locations. We got one up there off of 231 in Dothan, and of course the one down here in Panama City Beach in the Edgewater Shopping Complex. Looking forward to talking to him and seeing what kind of stuff he's got going on at the shop, and ask him a few opinions too as well about some of the stuff going on in the golf world right now. All right, a lot of sports related afternoon delight debriefs today. Kind of a lot of cool stuff going on. But I'll start with this one. Yankees reveal ex-Uber driver J.C. Escara's call to mom after making the roster. After making the New York Yankees Major League roster, catcher J.C. Escara got to share an emotional moment with his mother. Escara, whose long road to MLB included a stint as an Uber driver, called his mom to tell her the good news. Obviously, you can go find this video either on Twitter or just search up Escara, and I'm sure the video will pop up. But the team shared a video of the heartwarming conversation on social media. Obviously, he's been bouncing around in many different minor league organizations. He had he got cut by the Orioles back in 2022. He went from the American Association to the Atlantic League to the Mexican League for 2 years, just finding anywhere to play ball instead of hanging those cleats up. He had to spend all of 2024 climbing himself up through the Yankees farm system, and now he's made the opening day roster. So cool story out of baseball, and again showing how hard it is to make it to the big leagues, because there's so much
much competition.
Yeah, golf and
not
baseball,
just here in America.
No, that's the hardest part. And it's a lot of the Americans now. When we had it wasn't Leo Mazzoni, it was the other guy, Gordon Blakely, on. He was talking about how a lot of Americans are now going down in the Dominican leagues just because there's more scouts and more eyes on the Dominican leagues. You can't even play baseball here in your own country. You got to go to another country to get seen.
This is how you do.
Yeah, take the trip. Maybe you can take a cruise if you want.
You'll stand out. Your skin color's a little different. So it's like, wait, what's that white boy doing?
Hey, he's just trying to get some looks. Oh, all right. So that was a pretty cool story. And if you've watched the video, you know how emotional it was with his mom, who's obviously been supporting him through this entire journey. Warren Buffett awards $1 million in 2025 Employee March Madness pool after first round. Warren Buffett's annual NCAA tournament contest for employees of his Berkshire Hathaway conglomerate reportedly has its first winner. According to Daniel Roberts of Front Office Sports, Berkshire confirmed that the participant in the March Madness pool will receive the $1 million prize after correctly picking a winner in at least 30 out of the 32 games in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Roberts notes that an update before the final first round game between Oregon and Liberty stated that there were multiple brackets that have only one wrong. So it's possible there were multiple winners of the prize. Berkshire reportedly will reveal the identity of the winner or winners today on Monday. Buffett has been holding this contest for the past decade and usually garners between 60,000 and 70,000 entrants. After no one won the $1 million prize in 10 years, Buffett adjusted the parameters from perfectly predicting the Sweet 16 to correctly predicting the outcome of at least 30 of the first round games. I'm getting older. I want to give away $1 million to somebody while I'm still around as the chairman, the 94-year-old Buffett told Karen Langley of Wall Street Journal on why he eased the rules. The first round of this year's NCAA tournament didn't see much upsets, though number 12 McNeese State did knock off number 5 Clemson, and number 12 Colorado State took down number 5 Memphis. David, you probably would have won $1 million, huh?
For how many?
30 out of 32 in the first round.
Ooh, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'd have to. I don't think that I got 30. Let's see. We'll count real quick. All right, missed 1, missed 2, 3.
All right, so you're
4,
out.
5. I missed 5 in the first round.
No. Apparently, everybody missed more than you did. But yeah, hey.
But so Louisville's loss to Creighton, that busted 13 million brackets.
Yeah.
Clemson's loss to McNeese busted 6 million, almost 7 million brackets. High Point's loss to Purdue, broke 2 million.
People were
brackets.
on the High Point.
I guess so. They were at a high point for that. VCU's loss broke 584,000 people's. Georgia's loss to Gonzaga broke 265,241. I believe that was one of the ones I slipped up on. Montana's loss, 623,000. Our great friends at SIUE had 148,000 people picked them to take down Duke, right? Of all teams?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Other losses was 540,000, and then another 16 seed Alabama State. 105,000 people picked them.
I can see that one. Auburn's had been noted to be to be not play so great.
The overall number 1 seed, the weakest of the 1 seeds.
Make it make sense. I don't know. But Warren Buffett giving out $1 million. I guess it had to be perfect prior to this year, but maybe he'll give away a few million. I'll keep updated on that and see if we can figure out how many he gave away. And I guess that's to all the real estate agents that worked for Berkshire Hathaway are eligible for that particular contest.
Oh, so that's not like a worldwide thing?
No, he said employees.
Oh.
So I'm assuming employees of his brokerage, but I'm not 100% on that. All right, got another one. In one of the most audacious corporate scams ever, a man managed to steal $122 million from tech giants Facebook and Google by sending...
What are we sending?
By sending them counterfeit invoices. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Rimasakis established a phony company that impersonated Quanta Computer, a legitimate hardware supplier for both firms. He then submitted fraudulent invoices for services never rendered, and astonishingly, both companies paid without hesitation, to the tune of $122 million.
Daggum.
He's going to spend some time in jail. Yeah. That is for sure.
He's in the jailhouse now.
And I mean, I know they didn't pay attention to him, but he actually copied a legitimate hardware supplier for both companies. Not that that makes it any better, but I guess they should have better checks and balances with who's ever approving invoices to be paid at Google and Facebook. I'm sure there's a lot of invoices being paid out every day. All right, David, you may not like this story.
Oh, we're going Golf World?
No. I promised Beth I wouldn't touch that today.
Oh,
I know.
Man.
I know.
It's such a sensitive topic.
It is.
You know, I hate to say it, I like animals being in enclosures like that, but I do like the fact that we could go see them and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Curiosity.
But, man, savage. They were... And I'm not even talking about the treatment or mistreatment of the animals.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about their social media page that you can't say it. I'll say it for you. That's just wild to like post pictures of your dolphins when
all that's going on.
You wouldn't even let the FWC. I'm sorry to like be laughing about this because I'm not laughing at it. It's just wild to me that you could have the audacity to get on Facebook and post about
National Dolphin Day.
Yeah, and then you can post about discount scouts to come to your park and stuff. Meanwhile, you're on fire in your own backyard with how people feel about what you've been doing. And this is like new ownership, right?
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Yeah,
now.
like how
It's
long
been a
have they
while
been
now.
owning them? 5 years?
Yeah, maybe even a little bit longer.
Oh my goodness,
But
man.
getting back to the one you're not
Sorry,
going to like.
Dave.
No, you're okay. You're okay. In 2007, a series of tragic attacks occurred in Mozambique where several bald men were brutally murdered due to a misguided belief that their heads held gold. This dangerous superstition sparked violence, prompting police to issue warnings and crack down on those perpetuating these harmful beliefs. These incidents were part of a troubling trend of superstition-related violence in the area. Oh, man. Fun fact, no gold in any bald man's head.
No.
Not that I know of anyway, but if people have gold teeth, is that technically in your head?
There you go,
in your
man.
mouth. But your mouth is part of your head.
Maybe I should get some gold teeth.
No.
Not all the way across, just like one or two.
Yeah, get your grill.
No, not a whole grill. Mm-mm. No, just like...
Your what?
What?
Yeah. Your grill?
Smile of a grill. You get like Paul Wallet here.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Need a curtain for my mouth so that you don't get blinded by all of my ice.
That's right.
No, I'm good on that.
All right.
But I would like to have like just one, just in a random spot. Maybe not even visible, just, old school.
And then boom, you got one.
Yeah,
there.
look at my grill back here.
That's right. That's right. All right, this is kind of a fun golf story for everybody real quick. This is from the Zyre Golf is a great Instagram account if you ever want to dive in and see some interesting stories. But this one has to do with Q School. All right. It starts with, okay, I'm not writing and having someone edit it. Off we go. This is from the Monday Q Info account. Andre Chi, CHI, just Monday qualified for the Valspar. He was an okay junior golfer, but he only got D3 offers. His freshman year at Methodist, he averaged 77, played in 2 events. Improved each year, they won the D3 national championship his senior year. He always dreamed of playing pro golf, but didn't have the financial means to do it. His dad is a dental tech, and his mom works part-time as a nanny. So after school, he got an assistant pro job at Deepsdale in New York. Played a bunch of section events, had some small wins, tried Q School last year, missed by 2, came down to Florida for the winter, living by himself, playing in section events, going broke, signed up for the pre-qualifying, put it on his credit card, shot 66 in the pre-qualifier, shot 67 in 30-mile wind gusts, and he gets through. Besides section events and state opens, he's never really played a legit event. A friend of mine at the Monday says, call Ryan. He calls and I say, congrats. He says, thank you. And then what do? He has no idea of how anything works, where to go, where to park, how to register, etc. I walk him through that, then ask where he is staying tonight. He tells me he has $1,500 in the hole, has $60 left in his checking account. I get him a hotel for the night. This is why Mondays are great. This doesn't happen in any other sport. None. He's a nobody, and I mean that in a good way. An assistant pro of a club in New York. He played D3. He's never played an event on a legitimate tour. And Thursday, he's going to play on the PGA Tour, talking about last week's event. So obviously, Monday qualifiers can make somebody's dreams come true. Unfortunately, he went on to miss the cut and shot 13 over in the first 2 rounds, which is kind of expected in your first ever PGA Tour event. Yeah. But that's why I'm not a big fan of they keep slimming down these fields and making it harder to make stuff happen. Because, Chase Seifert, local golfer, if Monday qualifiers didn't exist, he would have never made it to the PGA Tour. So
has old Chase thought about crossing the pond and hitting the Live Tour?
He'd have to get invited to be on the Live Tour.
They could become friends with DeChambeau.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Just get on the horn with Norman.
There you go.
That'd be good.
Is he even? I know he's like.
No, he
involved.
got booted. There's a new CEO.
Isn't
now.
he still involved with it?
Yeah, in some capacity. I don't know. We'll ask Alan, see if he does. I'm just kidding. All right, this isn't really an afternoon delight debrief. Did you see the referee in the Liberty game where he pretended that there was a water on the floor to allow
to get a sub
J.C. Schreier Jr. to get in the game because he was just coming in late. They were already down by, I think, almost 30 points.
Yeah, so. It was a large deficit. There was no change in that one.
Yes, so he got to play in an NCAA tournament really because the ref, did a nice gesture.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to mention on today's show.
Especially, you only, when you get to the tournament, you're only promised one game.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get all, as coaches, we know it's hard to get everyone in all the time, especially for the right amount. I mean, we could talk to Rick Pitino about one of his players that he only played 30 minutes yesterday.
Yeah.
He was the Big East player of the year.
Yes. Got benched late in the game. And,
But I thought that was really cool, heartwarming moment, and one of the, the cool stories that's not happening, even though that happens on the court, it's kind of an off the court, kind gesture there.
Yeah, absolutely, and nice to see that referee action. All right, we got to talk about him, and that's Amir Aura Khan, and his NIL deals are rapidly multiplying. After knocking off 5-seed Clemson on Thursday, number 12-seed McNeese State is trying to make an extended run. Obviously, we know that came to an end. The Cowboys will be doing it without any household names except one. Student manager Amir Aura Khan. In February, the senior from Lake Charles, Louisiana, posted a video rapping In and Out by Lude Faux as he led the... I don't know why I did that in a French accent. As he led the team onto the court against Southland Conference rival Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Ever since Reed's viral Reed's, I think it's a spelling mistake because it's VIAL apostrophe S. It's got to be viral.
Yeah, definitely.
Vial's phone has been ringing off the hook. As special assistant to McNeese State head coach Will Wade, he helps the team handle NIL deals. I could tell it was going viral, but didn't know what it was going to be. Like super viral, Vial told Front Office Sports super viral. We got vile and viral in the same sentences. He told Front Office Sports super viral, as in when ESPN and Barstool Sports plastered you across social media. Super viral, as in when major companies start calling you for sponsorship deals, reported making Khan the first manager to have standalone NIL deals. There's a couple people trying to say, oh, Kentucky has it. Whatever. Kentucky's managers just got what they when they come. These people want this kid, basically saying that the managers in Kentucky get a piece of some of the NIL deals, but he got actual NIL deals. According to Vial, it started with the restaurant chain Buffalo Wild Wings, which wanted him for the start of the tournament. In the meantime, other deals started coming through. Now, heading into McNeese's Saturday matchup, which we know they lost against 4-seed Purdue, Khan's NIL deals are in the double digits. Buffalo Wild Wings is number one, which posted a video of Khan rapping as he led the team through the tunnel carrying a boombox embossed with the company logo. TickPick, which continued the meme with its own logo on the boombox. Tops, which released the trading card of Khan. Have to ask Aaron about that on Friday. Insomnia Cookies, PSD, an underwear company, Formula Bot, an AI startup, TurboTax, Fortnite, Rock'em Socks, and GLD, which is a chain company.
Oh, yeah, gold, yeah.
Yep. Things have gotten busy enough that Khan has to turn deals down, according to Vial. Wendy's reached out, for example, but conflicted with the Buffalo Wild Wings deal. We're just not taking anything and everything, he said. Still, things could get even busier for Khan. According to Vial, he received 135 phone calls on Friday, so many that he didn't have time to call everyone back because he's focused only on big deals. DoorDash reached out about a partnership, as has the producer of hit series Yellowstone, and Khan is tentatively scheduled to fly out to Chicago to meet Barstool Sports next week. If we win today, I've got 5 more brands I've got to call as soon as we get done, Vial said. Tylenol, Reese's, and I mean, it's insane. Obviously, he's also been noted to be transferring with Coach Will Wade to NC State. So, hey, goes to show you, even the team managers can make some serious cash.
Well, and that's how Will Wade started out, was as a, I think, special assistant or graduate assistant to the team manager, something like that. And, maybe the kid wants a future in basketball. If not, he just found this opportunity to be able to see. How long will something like this last, though? We'll have to see. Does it, revamp? Is it over for now? Do they continue to use them throughout the tournament and there's just no tie to McNeese State?
Yeah,
Does
that's a good question.
Build back up again whenever he's over there at North Carolina State next year? And, college basketball doesn't have the spotlight on it that it does whenever March Madness is around. TBD, but we'll see.
We shall find out. But makes for some interesting entertainment right now. All right, last story before we got to get Alan Watson on the line. This is from WJHG.com. Detectives recover 4 diamond earrings from Tiffany & Co. 2 weeks after suspects swallowed them during an arrest. This is from March 21st, again from WJHG.com. They picked it up from the AP Wire. Orlando, Florida, detectives recovered 4 diamond earrings from a suspect thief 2 weeks after he gulped the Tiffany & Co. jewelry worth nearly $770,000 during his arrest on the side of the highway in the Florida Panhandle, authorities said on Friday. The last 4 earrings stolen from the Tiffany store in Orlando were recovered from the suspect last week, the Orlando Police Department said on Friday. 3 of those earrings were recovered 2 days before that, along with 2 other unidentified diamond earrings. The suspect was transferred from a jail to a hospital while detectives waited to collect the evidence, police officials said in a statement. It's like when your dog eats something and you got to wait till it goes. The 4 stolen earrings matched the serial numbers from the jewelry taken from the Tiffany store last month, detectives said. After the jewelry was recovered, the Texas man was taken into Orange County Jail, where he faces charges of robbery with a mask and first-degree grand theft. During the theft, the man allegedly told Tiffany's sales associate he was interested in purchasing diamond earrings and a diamond ring on behalf of Orlando Magic basketball player. An Orlando Magic basketball player. Sales associate escorted the man to the VIP room where he could view the jewelry. A short time later, he jumped out of the chair, grabbed the jewelry, and tried to force his way out the door. Detectives obtained the license plate of the suspect's car through the shopping mall security footage and believed he was driving back to Texas. State troopers tracked the car from tag readers on the Florida Turnpike and Interstate 10 until he was pulled over for driving without rear lights in Washington County. Of course, you steal something in your car is a target for getting pulled over. Almost 340 miles away, the Orlando police report said. In the squad car, a state trooper heard the suspect say, "I should have thrown him out the window." And at the Washington County Jail, he asked staff, "Am I going to be charged with what is in my stomach?" According to the arrest report, yes, he was indeed charged for that. We're going to go ahead and take
it. They charged him for what was in his stomach?
Yeah, because he stole the...
stole... Oh, yeah.
He ate him.
Yeah. I was thinking of something else.
Absolutely.
Wild, man.
All right, we got to go ahead and take a quick break. That was a fun afternoon delight debrief with some wild stories. We got Alan Watson coming up next from Golf Plus. We'll be right back.
A 2-run home run.
The Atlanta Braves are back.
Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win.
And ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Braves country.
He just wrecked that thing. Straightaway center, a homer for Riley.
Sales, Strider, Acuna, Ozzie, Riley, Profar, and Coach Snitker lead a stellar lineup. Listen live nights and weekends on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Monday. Sprinkling and mostly cloudy the rest of the day with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour coming out of the southwest and temps near 69. Tonight we will have a variety of slight fog and some clouds and be quite warm at 63. Slightly foggy in the morning followed by some sun tomorrow and a high 73. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
TK Vandy Roofing and General Contracting is a fifth-generation contracting company based right here out of Bay County. TK Vandy's expertise in commercial and residential roofing, as well as a design-build general contractor, set them aside as a versatile and fresh alternative to achieve your construction needs. Contact TK Vandy Roofing, 850-866-9908, or email support@tkvandy.com. They can't wait to help you.
Pier Park, get ready to shake things up. Paradise Nutrition is now open. Craving flavor and fitness? We've got you covered. Loaded teas, protein-packed shakes, gourmet coffees, and refreshing drinks. From our signature Jimmy Buffett tea to Reese's Shake, Paradise Nutrition has over 600 flavor combos. Need energy? Appetite control? We've got add-ons like boba, biotin, collagen, and probiotics. Plus, try our donut whole shot appetite suppressant. Paradise Nutrition, Pier Park, next to Target.
We're betting the limit and covering the spread.
Viva Las Vegas.
The Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
Thank you. Nice to be in Vegas.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here inside the Golf Plus studios, and we've got him on the line now. It is our good friend Alan Watson. Alan, how are you doing on this kind of dreary Monday?
Just caught you there coming in. What was that?
I was just saying, we're excited to have you as the studio sponsor here on the Inside Drive. Kind of seems like the match made in heaven with our golf theme here. And then, of course, you being, obviously the best golf club fitter and retailer around. And I was asking, how are you doing on this kind of yucky Monday?
No, it is yucky. I'm in the van right now, just driving back to the Dothan store, and it has been raining on me pretty much this whole trip. So, yeah, kind of gross, but, it'll help the grass grow, I guess. So we'll take it.
Hopefully, wash away some of this pollen too, and get the yellow off everybody's vehicles and in the streets.
That's right.
It's we know it's getting close to the Masters when the pollen is out. Obviously, two great locations, Alan. One right down here in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza, and then up there off of 231 up there in Dothan, which I believe you have been heading to most of the morning. I've been talking about it kind of all week. Last week when she came on board as our studio sponsor. Golf Plus is not just a store for golfers. You guys got a lot of other cool stuff as well that really anybody could come in and buy. Talk about some of those products that would be available for anybody who may not necessarily be a golfer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're primarily a golf shop. There's no doubt about that. But, we do carry a little bit of clothing, not a ton, but more in the Dothan store than down here. But we've got some clothing that can be, in for golf or not necessarily for golf. A lot of the shoes that we sell, too, honestly, are what we call lifestyle shoes. So, that category over the last several years has gotten a lot bigger. And a lot of people, you can wear the shoes on or off the course. A lot of them are good for other things, anything from cross-training to, honestly, some of it can be casual enough to wear to the office or whatever. So there's definitely something there in terms of something that maybe if you're not a golfer. The socks, I know it's going to sound crazy, but the socks are a huge thing. I mean, the golf companies know how to make great socks that hold up and give you support and really do well. And so, if you're a guy and you're tired of buying socks at Walmart or Target or somewhere like that, nothing against those stores, but if you're tired of buying a basic product and you want something a little bit nicer, some of the stuff that we sell in that category, again, better product. Same thing with belts. We sell some really nice belts, some higher-end pieces, and then also some mid-price point stuff that, again, you can wear it to church, you can wear it to the office, you can wear it on the course, off the course, whatever. So that's a lot of it. Obviously the equipment side of it is pretty golf-centric, no doubt. But, I think even if you don't play golf, there's a lot of people out there that have a golfer in their life, whether it's a high school kid, whether it's maybe their father or their grandfather that plays, something, so we've got stuff for other folks as well when it comes to gift-giving seasons like birthdays, like Father's Day, and other stuff as well. So, we're not, again, we're 99% a golf shop, but we can help you in other areas. People like to buy our umbrellas, too, which is another thing. Everybody knows that golf umbrellas are amazing. A lot
Absolutely.
Of times big double canopy. So
Absolutely.
Stuff like that.
Can't be a good golf umbrella for anything that you may need, especially in the state of Florida. No doubt about that.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously you guys sell gift cards and that stuff too. So if you're just looking to get a gift for the golfer in your life, obviously you could pick something out for them, but you could always get them a gift card or a gift certificate as well that they could use.
Yeah, gift card's definitely the easiest way to do it. Super fast, in and out. You can grab it and go. Makes a great gift for your boss or for a family member or a friend when you're not 100% sure what they want. Definitely helps out. Our gift cards work at both locations, and eventually we're going to figure out how to make them work on our website as well. Hadn't quite got that figured out. I'm not super tech savvy, so I'm still working on that one.
Absolutely. But I've been kind of talking about this all week, last week, about how important club fitting is. And that's one of the things that you guys are experts at when it comes to getting people the right equipment in their hands. But it also isn't necessarily new clubs, but, you guys offer the ability to kind of see where their current clubs are as well, right? And could potentially, fit them and make some adjustments to their current set of clubs.
Yes, we call that a retrofit. And sometimes people will come in with a set of clubs that was handed down to them or that they bought secondhand, and so they don't necessarily fit them. We can go through our same process that we would go through with new, extrapolate all the data to the current set and explain to them what their options are there. It might be something inexpensive like a length adjustment or a lie angle adjustment, or it might be something as complicated as a full reshaft or whatever. And if, for whatever reason, the clubs are just really not going to work no matter what we do to them, we'll let them know that as well, although I'd say that's pretty rare in the case. But, yeah, so we give you a lot of different options, from retrofitting your current clubs to buying new, whatever. And so that allows the price range to kind of extend from low to high in terms of being able to try to fit more people's budgets, because not everybody's in the mood to drop a ton of money on golf. Golf's expensive enough as it is. So
yeah, no doubt. I have a lot of people that ask me, I'm gonna get a set of clubs. What would you recommend? And I always go, I recommend getting fit first for that set of clubs, because if you're just buying something, it's not the right weight, not the right lie angle, not the right shafts, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle out there on the golf course, and that's why fitting is so darn important. On the driver fitting specifically as well, a lot of people don't realize, unless they've heard me this point into the ground, is if you don't have the right driver shaft, the shaft on the driver is the engine of that golf club. You may hit it right, you may hit it left, and it may have nothing to do with your actual golf swing. It may more have to do with what shaft is in that driver. In this day and age, with all the adapters on the shafts, it's super easy, to get a new shaft put in your driver. So that's obviously a service you guys offer.
Yeah, absolutely. We did that for a customer on Friday, and I think another one on Saturday, where they walked in with a broken club. And then we were able to literally just unplug, the old piece, plug a new one in that fit their needs. So it's pretty quick in terms of that. You're right about that. But also, like you said, with the fitting side with the driver, I mean, I always tell people, like, you're not going to go to a clothing store and be like, I want blue. Like, that's just too vague. Like, you've got to be like, hey, I need you to measure to make sure the shirt's going to actually close around my big, thick neck. Or I want to make sure the arms are not so long that it looks like I'm borrowed my dad's suit or whatever, right? So that is so important. And the shaft stuff, man, I tell you what we found out over the last few years is that weight is almost more important than flex. Now, I did say almost, but, it's like the weight now is so big, because if the weight doesn't feel right in your hands, now all of a sudden you're trying to make adjustments. If the shaft flex is not right, like you mentioned, that all of a sudden causes where you make a good swing, but yet you get a bad result.
Yeah.
So you're exactly right. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, dude, I'm watching you. You're making good swings. It's just not working. Now, why is it not working? That's us as experts. That's our job to go figure that out. And obviously we recommend lessons. We think everybody should get lessons. The best players in the world get lessons. So why shouldn't all of us amateurs? But at the same time, playing with the wrong equipment, like you said, fighting that uphill battle, not any fun. You're out there saying to yourself, gosh, I felt like I made a good pass at that. I don't know why I hit it out of bounds, and it's probably the club and the shaft are not set up for you and your swing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys have all the technology and the expertise to put the right club with the right specs in everybody's hand. So
absolutely,
go visit Alan and Golf Plus and all his great staff members that really know what they do. I know you guys are top club fitters in the country too, so certainly know what you're doing, no doubt about that. I want to talk about the van real quick, Alan. You've had it for a little while now. What are some of the services that you are either offering or will be offering out of the van?
Yeah, so I'm actually driving it right now. It's and I hate when the wind blows me around with it. It's so big. But anyway, so basically this is just going to be club repair for now. I could see us trying to figure out a fitting service later, but it would have to be a trailer with a bunch of equipment attached to it, because there's just no room inside the van for it. So right now we're not worried about fitting. That's really more for our locations. The van is 100% club repair, and it can do everything that our stores can do. So everything from a basic grip or an extension or a cut down, all the way up to a full set of rebuilds, reshafts, all that. We're going to be stocking, and we are stocking on the van, all those adapters you mentioned for the different brand drivers. We can do loft lie adjustments. We have a putter bending machine and an iron bending machine. So when we take this to an event, we can do anything, and that's really the goal of this van, is to be able to go to an event, whether it's something like a high school tournament, whether it might be a charity scramble, might be a college event, whatever. But we're going to be able to take this out there and help golfers get the stuff that they would come by the shop for, but maybe they just haven't had time or haven't gotten around to it. And now we can help that event by offering something that they don't normally have, help that golf course, because, you run 1,000 tournaments. On the day of an event, you and your staff don't have time to do anything except deal with that event. So it just would be a good all-around help to the whole golf community.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, when you said that, I could probably count, I don't know how many times I've done it in many tournaments I've ran in my entire golf career. Hey, do you have a grip? Could you pop this, do you have a grip you could pop on my driver for me real quick before the tournament goes out? Hey, check out the Golf Plus van right there. They can get you going. So that's a awesome service that you guys are providing. And how do people kind of find out where the van's going to be? Obviously, they can go to the stores. That would be first and foremost.
Absolutely.
But
yeah. No, so right now we're not running the van out yet for events because I'm still trying to get permission from all the courses, and I'm still trying to meet with all the directors of golf and the pros and all that to show it to them. So far, the guys that have seen it have been really impressed. They're excited about it, but it's just a matter of getting the word out for that. And then the other side of it is, honestly, we're just having staffing issues in the store. The Panama City market has been really great to us from a customer standpoint for the last 4.5 years, but it's been really difficult from a staffing standpoint. I've got a couple of amazing guys with me right now, but it's just I need one more person. If I can't get enough help, it's hard for me to have time to take the van out. You know what I mean? So right now it's just staffing issues that are causing problems, and I'm sure that's still happening in a lot of other businesses as well. And if you're out there, you're a small business owner, and you're trying to hire like me, I feel your pain because right now it's tough. But anyway, so yeah, we will be running this thing soon. The goal was to get it ready and running by the end of March. It is ready, but we definitely don't have anything booked right this second just because I'm in the shop 5 days a week, and then I'm going to Dothan 1 day a week. So basically, I don't have a day off to breathe. But anyway, that's my problem, not anybody else's, and we'll fix that soon. We're working on fixing that situation.
There you go. If you're looking to work for a great boss in a spectacular golf shop, if you love the game of golf, you can reach out to Alan Watson at Golf Plus, and he'd love to
I'm hiring right
talk
now,
to you
sure.
and maybe get you on board. And excited to get that van on the road as well. I think that's an awesome service. And if you could bring it to college events, high school events, stuff like it's almost like having a tour van at your particular event, because that's what happens at tour events. The TaylorMade van, Callaway van, they're all there, and they're getting the players that are on staff with them hooked up with whatever they need specification-wise. So very, very cool service. Probably one of the few mobile club repair services I can think of certainly in our area, but maybe in the greater Southeast, that's for sure. So congrats on hopefully getting that out there on the road at actual places here pretty soon. We'll keep pushing, getting you guys somebody to work to get you going a little bit over there. I understand it's certainly a tough market right now to hire, no doubt about that. Alan, did you have a chance to watch the final round of the Valspar yesterday?
I did not get to see the whole round. My wife and I had a bunch of stuff to do, kind of, again, because I'm working so many days now.
That's your one day to get stuff done.
That's my one day to go hang out with her and do some stuff. But I saw that Hovland won. I know I watched him on Saturday, and he seemed like he was a little streaky but solid enough with the putter, and that's really what gets it done in those events usually. It seemed like, decent field. I mean, not the best field I've seen in a while, but it's decent field. And Hovland's, he's just a great golfer. He should have probably won more, but I'm glad he finally, got another one down for him. So.
Yeah, so basically what happened, he was trailing Justin Thomas by 3 with 5 holes to go, and he mounted a very impressive comeback, birdieing 14, 16, and 17 for a final round 67, which brought him to an 11 under par total, edging out Justin Thomas by 1 stroke. But the question I was going to ask you, did Viktor Hovland win it, or with Justin Thomas's, despite a very strong performance up until Sunday, he kind of faltered in the closing holes, bogeying 2 out of his final 3 holes to finish with a 5 under 66 and locking in that second place at 10 under par. So with that little information about what happened, would you say that Hovland won that tournament, or Justin Thomas kind of collapsed and gave away that tournament?
Yeah, well, we've been talking about this on the Afternoon Underdogs for about a year or two now.
Alabama golfers, that's why.
Justin Thomas and his problems where, he's a little bit of a head case. And when he's feeling good, he's feeling good. I mean, obviously he shot 62 last week. He's just a great player. But I think you got to give it to Hovland for just hanging in there and waiting for Justin Thomas to get out of the way.
Yeah.
I think Justin sort of gave that away for sure, it sounds like. And again, he's just mentally not 100% there. And I hate that for him because he's got so much talent. But, I keep waiting for Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth both to kind of get back on top of their game and really make the PGA Tour what it used to be. And it hasn't really happened so far. So I'm a little bit worried about JT. But, congrats to Victor either way. But obviously, if JT holds on, then that doesn't matter, and he doesn't give it up. So, yeah, he kind of gave that one away for sure.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with you on that one. And, again, affirming how difficult golf is. You can be at the top of the game for a little while, and then all of a sudden a couple things change, and everybody's talking about when's JT going to be back? When's Jordan going to be back? When are the I forget the name of their little group with Smiley Kaufman and Ricky Fowler.
Ricky, all those guys. That's Ricky's another one of those guys, unfortunately, where it's like all this potential and you just can't get the wins. But, I don't think what people don't realize, and you and I know it, but it's hard for people to kind of grasp it. You've got 150 players a week playing. You've got hundreds of guys who are in the top several hundred in the world who could potentially win on any given week. And because golf's an individual sport and you don't have a big support system like you do in baseball, football, soccer, whatever, you can play really well and still get beat. Like you said, Thomas shoots 66 and still gets beat. So, playing well, it's really that playing consistently is the key.
Yeah.
Driving the ball consistently, hitting greens, making putts, and other than Tiger, who obviously dominated for a long time, and other than Scotty, who has had a pretty dominant run the last few years, other than those two guys, it is really hard to remember somebody who could dominate golf, and it's because it's so difficult and it's so random, and there's too many guys that are good. It's not just a one-person field. So anyway, that's why golf's difficult. That's why when people say like, oh, wow, how come Rudy hasn't won more, and how come so-and-so hasn't, gotten off the snide yet or whatever. It's like, dude, there's 150 guys out there that are ready to beat his brains in every week. So it's tough.
Absolutely. Alan, before we let you go, what's the best way for people to either get in touch with you, find out what's going on at the shop? I know you guys have a wonderful TikTok page as well where you show a lot of kind of behind-the-scenes action of what's going on there at Golf Plus. But what's the best way for people to follow what's going on?
Yeah, the best thing to do is just to head over to golfplusdothan.com, and that's going to have links to all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have a email newsletter that comes out every Monday, stuff like that. You can kind of keep up with that website, golfplusdothan.com. It's going to have the fitting page with all the explanations of all of our fittings, the links to how to get fit through that. It's as easy as booking a massage online or whatever. So just check out the website, and then from there you can find our YouTube and our Instagram and all that and kind of keep up. And, of course, we welcome you to come by the shop anytime at the shops at Edgewater, or if you're in Dothan, we're on Montgomery Highway, which is 231, just inside the circle. Been in the same spot in Dothan for 36 years, believe it or not.
That's awesome. Well, Alan, again, we appreciate you jumping on as our studio sponsor, and I'm hoping you can get some more people hired. One, to get the van out on the road, but two, be able to come in and spend some time with me here in the studio.
Absolutely. Can't wait. All right. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you guys.
You got it. Have a great rest of your day, Alan. All right, you guys listen to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. When we get back, we're going to talk about that Braves opening day lineup, some Aaron Rodgers news, and some local high school sports action from this past Friday. You're listening to The Inside Drive. It's Monday morning. We'll be right back. Monday afternoon.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Are you looking to invest in rare coins and precious metals? Well, look no further. Coin and Bullion Reserves is Bay County's trusted source for rare coins and precious metals. Located in the heart of Panama City, our showroom is stocked with a vast selection of gold and silver bullion, rare coins, and currency. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned collector, we have what you're looking for. Our sales staff has over 50 years of experience to help guide you through your purchase. Come and visit Coin and Bullion Reserves today and build your collection with confidence.
Panama City, are you ready for March Madness and the best crawfish in town? Head to Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar. Watch 4 games at once, all tournament long, on the largest TV in Panama City. Wear your team gear and score big. Buy a drink, make a basket, win a free drink. Plus, unbeatable specials. 3 pounds of crawfish with corn and potatoes, just $25. Buckets of beer, $12.50. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
From the fairway to the rough.
I was hoping to squeeze in 9 holes before this rain starts.
From the greens to the bunker.
Certainly, Your Eminency.
It's the Inside Drive with Ryan and Jay.
The good Lord would never disrupt the best game of my life.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. TGL Finals coming up tonight on ESPN2. That is 8 p.m. The finals between the Atlanta Drive Golf Club and the Bay, or the new, I think, what is that logo there? I can't tell. I was going to try to.
The virtual golfers.
Yeah, the virtual golfers. Virtual golfers. They got Kyle Berkshire, the long drive guy, on there, and he hit one. I don't know, it's like 397. It's kind of ridiculous, but shows how accurate those particular things are. That is for certain. Ooh, I guess it's about to rain a whole bunch, huh? Looks like it's kind of about to be pretty nasty out there. But again, let's wash away.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, wash away some of that pollen. Wash away some of that.
God's car wash, baby.
There you go. There you go. Speaking of God, I do want to give a shout out to my daughter Ryan, who got baptized yesterday over there at First Baptist in Panama City. So she made the choice, and it was pretty exciting to see all the support and love she got from a lot of her friends and family. But again, congratulations on her to accepting Jesus Christ as her Lord and Savior.
I saw the, like, I did. Beth had posted it or whatever. I saw the background. I was like, oh, they're at First Baptist. How about that?
Yep, absolutely. She's been going for a while now with some of her friends, and she made the decision last week to walk up front. So I think Liam's not too far behind, if I'm not mistaken. He's just got to understand a little bit.
Well, then what your sibling does it, though? You're just kind of like...
I think that's the whole reason.
Yeah,
it's like a competition.
Yeah. So you got baptized before me.
He's like, I'm in now, but we'll see what happens.
Growing up as a preacher's kid, I know that, that battle all too well.
There you go.
Oh man, my third brother Will, I believe it was. He was like, I don't want to get baptized. I don't want to drown.
She said the water was really, really, really warm.
There you go. I mean, there's probably bathtub water, dude.
And that surprised me. I just figured it was like cold because it's like a.
It depends on if the church has a hot water heater. And I don't know. By the size of that church, I would
sure
imagine.
They have a few.
I would say, if you're like 20 years ago or so, might not have heated water in there. I'm trying to remember, because I will tell you, there was a time or two when Mom and Dad wasn't around that I'd go swim in the baptistry.
Oh boy!
Now we would be allowed to sometimes, but then they weren't around, then
take a little dip.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. But it is it's the Atlanta Drive Golf Club and the New York Golf Club, which will be taking on each other in the inaugural finals of this year's TGL season. That stands for Tomorrow's Golf League.
Yeah, Tomorrow's
At first
Golf
I thought it was the Golf League, but
should have been Tiger's Golf League.
It should have been. He's part owner with Rory. Now it's Vanessa's Golf League. But Justin Thomas, Billy Horschel, and Patrick Cantlay will be taking on Cam Young, Ricky Fowler, and Xander Schauffele. Give me a pick, David. It doesn't matter.
The first team?
The first team? I think that's probably fair. Justin Thomas, Billy Horschel, and Patrick Cantlay.
Come on now, yeah, daggone it. That's right.
Coming off his...
Catch a gator and an elephant in that one.
That's true. Two of the teams left in the Sweet 16. All right. You got RJ coming up this afternoon?
I do, at 4:20. He's on his way back from Homestead, actually.
There you go.
Well, my TV paused in the last 9 laps, so I didn't see the ending of the race. But I guess Kyle Larson ended up getting it done.
From what I understand, made a pass in the last lap to beat Alex Bowman and Bubba Wallace. But Kyle Larson ended up winning that race. And now your standings, of course, William Byron still at the top with 244 points. Got 70 from this past weekend, and Kyle Larson is now at 208 in second after that victory. But tune in to the afternoon underdogs at 4:20 to find out more detailed NASCAR coverage. And if you're a NASCAR fan, that should be a segment you tune into every week. Yeah. Obviously, certainly, if you have the opportunity to. All right, real quick, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but kind of predicting the Braves opening day roster. Right now, like David said, catchers, there's 2, Drake Baldwin and Chadwick Trump, not Chad Trumpwick, which I like that name better, but it's certainly not his
Well, it's
name.
also about changing it. I mean, he's changed his number a couple of times.
Absolutely.
I think when his first year with us, it was 45. And then, he got a lot of kind of blowback for, if the letter was a U instead of a O, all of that kind of stuff. So I think he changed his number after that, and I don't know what number he's wearing.
I just got it. Because I looked again when you said U. Oh, it's funny. That is funny. But the Braves are obviously still evaluating, but all signs indicate that Baldwin, the team's number 1 prospect and number 62 in baseball, will serve as Atlanta's starting catcher.
I think he should.
While Murphy is sidelined, obviously, with that cracked rib, and hopefully will be coming back in a couple weeks or so.
First, you let him go back down. You use one of his options, I would say, to go back down, and then let Chadwick kind of be the backup for a while. And if Drake is continuing to have the same success that he had last year, then bring him up and run that 1-2. The thing is and it's funny because one of the bigger reasons why Alex Anthopoulos went out and got Sean Murphy was the durability of what he was able to do over there in Oakland for the Athletics. And it hasn't worked out like that to this point, but, Drake Baldwin could either take a spot or we get the Sean Murphy that we were thinking that we were getting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, first baseman, no doubt on that one. That's Matt
Freddie
Olson.
Freeman. Oh.
Yeah. Olson has been Atlanta's starting first baseman for 485 of the 486 games the Braves played since he was acquired before the 2022 season.
That's insane.
Talking about durability. That's nuts. That trumps, no pun intended, Marcus Semien with 469, Freddie Freeman with 467, and even Francisco Lindor with 467.
Wow, Freddie's played that much, 469 out of...
467.
Oh, 467.
Is how many games he started, I guess. Those are the only players to make 460-plus defensive starts within that span in the league.
That's insane.
Yeah, but 485 of 486. One missed game, almost 500 games played. I don't care how durable you are. There's just always an opportunity to get hurt.
Coming for you, Cal Ripken.
Yeah, right. What's that number?
It's like 2,532 or something like that.
Whew. Yeah, that's I got a Coke bottle that my dad got with that number on it. So it's not really worth anything, but it's still pretty cool. It's got orange lettering and all that stuff.
Trying to see what the exact number is.
It's a lot. It was a lot. And then obviously second baseman, Ozzie.
2,632. So I was off by one digit, essentially. I said 2,000. I think I said 532. I might have said 352.
Yeah.
Oh, well, dyslexia.
Yeah, it's like it's how many feet are in a mile? How many games did Cal Ripken Jr. play consecutively?
I don't know, about 5,000.
Yeah, a lot. A lot. Second baseman Ozzie Albies. If Albies stays healthy, he can still compensate for his defensive value he's lost over the past few years while battling injuries and losing a little bit of arm strength, but still still batting great, and will be a crucial part of the Braves' early lineup. Shortstop Orlando Arcia. This will be Arcia's third and possibly final season as Atlanta's starting shortstop. The pressing concern is finding a middle infielder who can handle shortstop or second base if Albies is injured this year.
Yeah.
Third baseman Austin Riley. Riley's bid for his fourth consecutive 30-home run season and first Gold Glove award ended when he fractured his right hand last August. Injuries were just prevalent for the Braves last year.
Across the board, man.
And so moving on to the outfielders, you got Michael Harris second, Jurickson Profar. I know you said it earlier and I tried to remember it. I knew I was going to butcher it. Jared Kelnick and Brian De La Cruz. And of course, once Ronald Acuna Jr. returns to the season's first 2 months, he will join Harris and Profar as the everyday outfielders. Acuna competes to recover from his torn ACL. Kelnick will be the primary right fielder, but could platoon with the right-handed hitting De La Cruz.
Which I don't think De La Cruz now is going to make the opening day roster because I would imagine that they go with Alex Verdugo. Alex Verdugo's actually got a really good glove, and I don't think that it gets looked at enough.
Gotcha.
I would imagine that De La Cruz is not on the opening day roster.
There you go. We'll update there. And then DH, one and only, Marcell Ozuna. He's one of the players in baseball with a 900-plus OPS since the start of the 2023 season.
Which he started 2023, I believe, up until almost May, hitting like under 100.
Yep, and then just turned that switch and was a big part of that Braves run in 2023. Bench utility players, Nick Allen and Eli White. Allen can play around the infield, and his plus defense at shortstop will allow Atlanta to rest Orlando Arcia more than it has in the past couple of seasons. It didn't take White long to show he's the best option to serve as a super utility man. Once the former Clemson shortstop was given a chance to play infield this spring, it was obvious he was a better all-around option than Luke Williams. Starting pitcher rotation looks to be Chris Sale, Ronaldo Lopez, Spencer Schwellenbach, Grant Holmes, and Ian Henderson. Holmes and
Ian Anderson? They actually just traded Ian Anderson to the Angels yesterday. Yeah.
Just kidding. He's out.
They got a left-hander, Jose Suarez.
Okay. Do you think that makes Smith-Shawver?
Yeah, it would have to be A.J. Smith-Shawver, who would be your kind of...
said that with kind of a New York accent. That was weird.
Probably your fifth starter.
Gotcha.
So we'll see.
He would replace Anderson?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And then Strider will be
once
coming
he returns,
back.
Yeah. Looks like near end of April will be joining the...
But we got to hope for the Saints. I think Chris Sale's pretty safe to say, will he be Cy Young level? You never want to guesstimate that.
Yeah.
Or you hope for it, obviously.
Of course.
But the kicker for me is Reynaldo Lopez able to kind of replicate kind of close to that area of the stats that he had last year? Because he was a relief pitcher prior to that. When he was in Chicago, they brought him in. They turned him into his start. I think he went back to starting pitching and had a lot of success last year.
Raciel Iglesias, Pierce Johnson, Dylan Lee, Aaron Bummer, Daysbel Hernandez, Buck Farmer, Hector Neris, and Enyel De Los Santos are your 8 relief pitchers that should be on the opening day roster.
Yeah, buddy. They got Craig Kimbrell, as I mentioned, and Jesse Chavez. They're on minor league contracts, but you'll see them in a Braves uniform at major league level at some point in time this year.
Absolutely, and that takes us to the end of the show today. We appreciate Alan Watson coming on, and of course a studio sponsorship as well. Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. We'll be back tomorrow with Steve Doc A. Alexander as well as Brad Law from the Auburn Sports Network. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Stay dry. We'll see you tomorrow.
ESPN Northwest Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
Man, is there anybody in sports right now that meets the moment like Shohei? It is very messy. And MJ, and Tiger in his prime, Steph and LeBron.